Hey everybody,
What's up?
Tony and Chris are back for another TigerSox review for the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet.
For you, yes.
Part 2 of our brewery tour. This is on site for Tenaya Creek,
We're at the creek, everybody.
831 Bonanza Road, Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't have a zip code for you, sorry. Right under the spaghetti bowl. If you can find the spaghetti bowl, you can find this place.
Sit over just a minute. Show the people the tag.
Oh yes. Sorry. Let me get my fat butt out of the way. There we go. That's what you came. That's what the people want.
That's the money shot, not
That's
us.
what the people want to see. Can you see the barrels back behind?
There's some barrels back there,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
They're over here, actually.
Okay, yeah, they back
They're
behind.
behind me.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, we're...
Yeah. Is that where the barrels are?
Yep,
Yeah.
under my armpit. There you go.
Honest to goodness beer barrels.
Yep. So the fellas, the staff at the Tenaya Creek were kind enough to let us back here. We've known
We've commandeered the
them
brewery.
for quite a while, so it was kind of an easy in, I guess you could say. But we're very grateful to Tim, the owner, for
Indeed.
going through, letting us do this. Brian, who's out front right now, slinging suds as we speak.
And if you come here on
It
a
is
Sunday,
open.
it is very likely that Brian will be the one
Yep.
as your beer tender.
Brian's here 10 to, I believe, 6 on Sundays. And so he's in the next room serving happy people drinking happy beer.
And
So-
if you follow Creek Geeks LV, he is El Jefe. We follow him at Creek Geeks on Twitter. Don't forget to check out the Creek Geeks LV on both Twitter and Facebook.
That's us.
That's us, and it's you. It's you too. It's not
Yeah.
about us, actually. It's about
No.
being fans of the Creek and enjoying Creek beer and keeping up on Creek events. And yeah, so it's really about the Creek.
And more shout outs to Anthony, the Brewers.
The Brewers.
Anthony, Marcos, Johnny, Jeff, the Crazy Jeff.
Crazy Jeff.
Crazy Jeff, man. They're great guys, very passionate, and very, very good at what they do. And Katie, who's
Katie, our beer tender.
beer tender,
Katie
who's
and Ruth.
and Ruth, who are not here at the moment. But,
Nope.
when we came back here to set up, there were about 4 or 5 other customers outside of us. It's relatively early still. In fact, it's basically noon on a Sunday. So yeah, we're gonna do
Just some quick facts
couple
about.
reviews.
I also want to recommend.
Oh, and Connor.
Connor.
Shout out to
And recommendations. I just want to say really quickly, if you're staying downtown Las Vegas, if you're staying on the Strip, either way, you're talking about an Uber ride that's probably less than $20.
Oh, easily.
Even from the Strip. If
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
on the far end of the Strip, you might pay a full $20 Uber ride.
Yeah.
But even a cab, if you take a cab, you're still paying less than 25.
Although if you're on the or if you're on the northern half of the Strip, say Circus, Stratosphere, I don't know, Encore maybe, I'd say your Uber right here would be $10-12. Yeah. But if you're in the south end of the Strip, like Mandalay Bay, Luxor, it'd be a little bit more. But
And if you're staying downtown, I mean, you're probably talking probably a $6 Uber ride at
Yeah.
most.
so Tenaya Creek's been open. Actually, they're going to have their 20-year anniversary in just a few months from now. Actually, in
That's
November.
right.
So they'll hit 20 years old. They've been in this location on Bonanza for 3 or 4 years. About 4 years, yeah.
You know, if I had my IPA glass here, it says right on there because it says 1999 that it's crossed out and then it says below
Yeah.
it. And I swear 2015 is what it says for the first year.
Yeah, so
They
they're
were
coming
here.
up on a couple anniversaries
But
here.
yeah, they're 20 years in. They're definitely veterans in the Las Vegas beer market.
And much beloved. This is, I consider the best brewery in Vegas. I'm not just saying that because I'm wearing their shirt, but I've been coming here for years, their old location for years, and we're going to have a beer a little bit later that won a gold medal at the Great American Beer Festival for a reason. It is outstanding. So today we're going to review
We're going to review my favorite barley wine. Now,
Chris's favorite barley.
my favorite barley wine locally, and that is, and by that I mean the one that's available year round. Now, I'm a big fan of Joseph James Blood Moon barley wine. It's probably my favorite local barley wine. But in terms of a barley wine you can get here regularly, this is my favorite, always has been. And in fact, you will be seeing Tony and me very soon reviewing a bottle of an aged bottle of Old Jackalope barley wine from 2016 or 2017.
Same beer,
I
just
have to
aged.
remember, but
Yep.
this is the 2019 version. Unfortunately, could not find a 2019 listing on Untapped. So if you go to Untapped, you look up just Old Jackalope barley wine in general, you will see it only has 2,584 rankings, giving it a cumulative score of 3.66 for a variety that is not well received amongst the beer community usually. And it isn't. I know this. As a barley wine fan, I know people don't generally like barley wines, and I can understand why you wouldn't. I mean, Tony's not the biggest barley wine
I'm
fan,
not.
but
But the Joseph James one is excellent. The Blood Orange
And we will be reviewing that one, actually revisited too. Tony and I reviewed that before, but this one will be an aged one. We'll see how that stacks up against. But so yes, this is this
Yep.
year's Old Jackalope. Tony is showing
That's
you
light.
there.
The light. We're trying to get the light. We're not actually. Obviously, I mean, this is the first time we've recorded a video in the brewery itself. We have done a video in Tenaya Creek before, but not with the equipment and in the actual brewery
Yeah,
involved.
and not.
It was out front. So
And before we did bottles that were given to us by the crew here, actually, Katie and Brian gave us
Right.
some bottles,
Yep.
and so this is, I think, actually the first time we're doing on-site beer on-site.
Yeah.
So this is
right, yeah, because
you can't get more straight from the tap than this. These beers are less than 10 minutes old.
right, exactly.
Since they were
Yeah,
pulled.
they were just drafted moments ago. So yeah, and on the nose, you got that little sweetness, that you would expect from a barley wine. There's almost like a brown sugary, molassesy kind of a fragrance to it. Would you say?
Considering Tony's the one who likes barley wines less, I'm going to let him do most of the descriptors here. I'm just going to note.
Uh,
I'm going to note that at this point,
What, are you gonna
there
phone
is
this one in?
still no. I'm just going to let you do most of the descriptors. I'm going to describe this as
Beards.
medium-low carbonation, which it has been straight from the source, and a semi-resilient head. But otherwise, I'm going to let you do the descriptors.
okay. Well,
I think it's better to let the guy who doesn't like barley wine so much.
I don't know if that's fair, but all right. On the nose again. Well, I'm of course you could nod your head or shake your head if you'd
Of
like.
course, I'm not going to remain completely
It's
silent.
definitely it's on the sweeter side. If you're familiar with barley wines, there is that element of sweetness. I liken it to brown sugar. I don't know why.
Brown sugar and molasses,
yeah.
I think, are the two.
There's almost a maple.
sweetness.
There's almost a maple element to it. On the nose, I mean, I guess we all have different sense of smell, but
And then there is that tinge of booziness from this. I mean, this is a 12 point. I believe it's 12 point.
I think it's 10 points.
Oh no, that's
ABV.
right. That's right. Not 12
The
point.
ABV is just
12 points
a little
what I
bit
had the
over
other day,
10.
but yeah, a little bit over 10. So not a full 11, but still a big hearty ABV on this.
And you definitely get the malt, and you definitely get almost like a sticky, like you just smell that it's going to be a sticky beer.
A chewy beer.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily sticky onto the touch, but it just you just anticipate it on the tongue being relatively sticky. What else? What
Cheers.
else should we just talk about before? Should we just
Let's just dig in and start
put
drinking.
this on the tongue? Cheers, everybody. I actually think this beer is better than I remember because it's not. It's had a few. We're in a kind of a warm room, and it's over 100 degrees outside, so the brewery's not exactly. And it's Sunday, so
It's Sunday, so the air isn't going.
so there's
more than
nobody
anything.
working here right now.
We
Obviously,
did, however, manage to catch the one fly that's in this brewery.
we have two actually, but anyway, I think the little added little bit of the chill coming off of it actually entices the flavor on this beer. Very malty, boozy, like you said. You get a very syrupy. You get a syrupy element in your throat, and like almost sticking to the back of your tongue and the back of your throat.
If you could put a beer in a flask, and it would just be a beer on hand, just a little nip here to warm you up, like this would be the beer to
It's
do
warming
it.
for sure.
It is warming. It has that alcohol burn.
Some nice lace to that glass too. Check that out. It got a Hands Across America paper doll kind of lace going on there.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, paper dolls. Creepy. There's paper dolls in my
Paper
beer.
dolls, weird.
If you're a fan of barley wines and you're in Vegas, I strongly suggest you come get a sample of the old barley, the old Jackalope. The old Jackalope's it's a very popular beer here amongst Tenaya Creek loyals.
I'm sorry,
No, that light.
this is one of the few
you captured
times.
it really well
This
there.
is one of the few times when the camera is truly capturing the color of the beer. I would say what I see on camera now is the color of this beer.
That's a great
so.
shot. Yeah, you caught it. It warms you up. Yeah, you almost got a little hint of cinnamon too. There's like somewhere
And I'm
down
not a fan of cinnamon, but nonetheless, I know exactly what you're
it's
saying.
faint. It's almost like a Christmas cookie in a glass, really. I mean, you just got so much of that kind of thing going on, like a molasses or a syrupy, but not syrupy in texture, not at all. But I don't know.
It's not chocolatey, but it reminds me of Mexican chocolate in that it's got that sweetness and that little bit of spice to it. So it's instead of spice, think more of alcohol burn. But
right.
yeah,
I think that's what reminds me of like a Christmas time baked good
Yeah,
kind of thing,
I mean,
because it has the spices that remind you of treats at the Christmas time.
I'm a barley wine fan, and I got to say flat out that I right now it's the middle of July.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want to drink a whole lot of these. Honestly, this is more of it's cold outside. Let's have a nice warming
Yeah,
beer.
this is not the beer to take and sit by the pool. No,
No,
absolutely not.
especially if you're staying here in
Right.
Vegas. No, you don't want to.
This is the kind of beer that complements an evening out, a
Precisely.
sophisticated meal.
Yeah.
It complements, I'm sure, various meats, probably smoked meats, probably really well. But it's outstanding. I'm not a fan of barley wines, but I know what's good.
Sometimes after dinner, some of you like to go and get
Right.
dessert someplace else. If some of you want to go get dessert at one place and some of you want to go get a beer at another place,
Dessert
I would
beer.
say this is a perfect dessert beer.
I would call it a
It really
dessert
is.
beer
Yeah.
because of the spices.
Mhm.
It feels like it would go along with one of the courses of maybe like a 4-course dinner or a 5-course dinner. Yeah.
Well, we still got.
Oh, we got a nitro
We
version.
do have a nitro version.
I almost
so,
forgot.
I'm
Knock
gonna
yourself.
grab a.
Now, okay,
There we go.
now we're getting to things that I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of nitro beers, and I'm not a fan of barley wines. But again, like I said, I know a good beer.
Not a fan of nitro wines or nitro beers myself. Gotta have you cleanse your palate so that.
Palate cleansing is a must right now. Yes.
I'm gonna let you
You want me to go first?
go first, by all means.
And the only reason I don't like nitro is just the texture. I like that little bit of fizz and carbonation going on in my beer.
And to me, nitro is basically a way of saying, how would this beer taste if it were watered down a little bit? It's really my take on nitro.
It kills, to me,
I know I'm oversimplifying it, but
it subtracts flavor to me. It's not just the barley wine. It's
yeah.
we've all had nitros with IPAs, with stouts, porters, you name it. It seems to be a subtractor to flavor to me.
If you want to experience nitro with any beer, pour the beer over ice, let it sit for 5 minutes, come back after the ice has diluted it some, then you got nitro.
I do dig the lacing though. The lacing on the old Jackalope is quite impressive. I'm back to my original glass here. It's a great beer. What would you score it? I'm sure you probably already have sometime in your life.
I scored it a 4.25, and that was out of the bottle. So out of the tap, though, I've got to say this is probably close to 4.5. I love this beer fresh out of the tap.
Yeah.
Although I have to admit, when some years they make it a little hoppier than others. There's some years a little more malty.
Right.
This year is a little more malty than last year. Last year was very hoppy. I didn't even buy a bottle of it last year, to be honest with you, because it was so hop forward. This is more malty, and this is definitely more to my liking.
Yeah, Jeff.
If you like the more malty version of Old Jackalope, this is it.
Right. It was either Jeff or Anthony, the brewers, was one of them that told me once that the 2019, the 2018, the 2017, they don't brew the exact copy of the year prior. They do change little subtle things each year to make it somewhat different and identifiable from year to year. But I have nothing but good memories of it. It's not a beer I order very often just because there's so many choices out there. They have a coffee IPA available right now, which is limited time, which is incredible. So, but yeah, I would score it a 4.0, and that's simply because I've had barley wines that were nasty. So,
we've got about a minute and a half.
So I know a good
I do want to address really quick also, if you go to TenayaCreekBrewery.com, you can get the board. The board has a camera on it. Even if the place, if they think the camera's not even when it's closed, right?
Right, they leave it lit
So
up.
you can see what's available on tap at the creek anytime. You don't have to call and ask somebody or whatever. It will have the beer, who the brewer is, ABV and IBUs if it's possible too. So and it'll tell you like this is a chocolate stout or whatever.
Yeah, if you go to their website, there's a tab along the top that says our beers or see our beers or view our beers, or it does say our beers, and you'll find, if you click on that, you'll find a link.
You'll find limited edition series there too called Offline. We've got just under a minute left. We want to say thanks again to the entire Creek crew. And we will be doing 2 more reviews here. And hopefully sometime in the very near future, you'll be seeing the cellared beers, as well as we hope to be doing a series of reviews at Scenic Brewing, Las Vegas's newest brewery.
Yep.
So,
inside the brewery itself. Yep.
Guys, until next time, drink good beer. Don't break the bank doing it, which is something you can definitely do here, is not break the bank. Thanks again to the crew at Tenaya Creek, and don't forget to check out the Creek Geeks LV on Twitter and Facebook.
Bye,
Cheers,
everyone.
guys. Bye-bye.
See you in a week.